Ooh, little wet. Little wet. Hold on a second. Had a passing shower early this morning. All right, a little bit late, if not a lot late. Went to the Y first and got the lift in. Heading to Rochester today, and the Sammoooo is coming in here early. We'll see if the Sammoooo hops on. He's my nephew. Again, the whole family's coming in. My brothers don't like me calling it, but it is Schultzapalooza 24. And I am going to Rochester. The timing didn't quite work out for the Sam visit, that thing, but we'll be here. He's going to be here for almost a week. All right, it is the Schultzcast episode 66. Some things to talk about. So we did get Glasgo's contract terms, and I don't know if I'm relieved or not, but at least he did get a raise. Okay, Kevin Foote wrote about it. You can see it in the Acadiana Advocate. $180,000 to $250,000. All right, so that is not, and we'll get to Matt Deggs. Like if he got the A&M job, he's going to get a lot more of a raise. But I mean, when you're making $180 and you get a $70,000 raise, which in my head is, are we looking at 40,000, right? Or 40% raise, more than 40%, right? 18 and 18 is 36. Okay, so no, it's 72. So almost a 40% raise. Okay, that's a lot. All right, I'm not gonna, sugarcoat that. I don't know if the Cajuns tried to make an offer to him. I don't know that. What I am questioning, and maybe suckered is the wrong word, but maybe appropriate. Enticed may be a better word. Enticed by what Texas Tech is going to do NIL money-wise. He claims he's got $15,000 to $25,000 per player. Really? So Texas Tech, who's going to try and compete in the Big 12 in football, in basketball, and in baseball, is going to pony up $250,000 to $300,000 in softball because they've been so successful in softball to begin with. I'm not quite buying that. I don't buy that. I still think there's something else going on. I don't know what it is. Haven't been on the message boards. I just don't know. It just seems like an odd time. Now, again, if you wanted to go following next season, when the schools can start paying, that I would buy. And I happen to believe him that G5 Sports is going to be very different when the Power 5 schools are paying their athletes. Like that, Cajuns can't do that, right? There's not an extra $20 million hanging around that you can pay your athletes. It's not going to happen. I think some Power 5 schools, I don't think there's $20 million around for Syracuse to start paying their athletes. I don't know how, G5 is going to, G5 is going to do it. So that I would buy. Okay. So what G5 Sports is, 3 or 4 years down the road. Okay. But why he went this year, there's something else to it. I'm not, someone mentioned yesterday, I was on Rage and Review. Nick, thanks very much for having me yesterday. Someone claimed that the Cajuns offered him $100,000 in NIL. That's pretty good. If Crew Alons had $100,000 for the softball team, so you can pay a few girls a lot of money, or almost everybody. I mean, I know there's more than this, but if you gave your top 20 players $5,000, right? And they don't really have 20 players to play, right? There's about, if you get 15, that's a lot. So if the Cajuns have $100,000 to dole out, right? You're not going to give as much as she would want at $100,000 to Maya Davis, but you give her 10. Certainly could give her 5. Okay, so then there was rumors or reports on Twitter, and of course, if it's on Twitter, it's true that the girls hadn't gone into the portal yet officially. But then last night on Rage and Review, someone said that Maya Davis and Allred had said do not contact, so they may be already going to Texas Tech. And again, I have no grudges, nothing. Hopefully, you're getting that NIL money. All right, but before you enroll to Texas Tech, just like Jerry Glasco signed a contract, you should be signing a contract, and you should have an agent or a lawyer with you, just to make sure that whatever money is being suggested or you're being enticed with, know when you're getting it. Because if you are getting $25,000, do I get that? Am I getting $5,000 now? Am I getting $20,000 after the season? Do I have to wait to play out all my eligibility? When am I getting it? So make sure, as again, somebody who was just dealing with this and it was swiped away, make sure you get it in the contract and you know what you're getting paid. And when you're getting paid. That's all I ask. And you can call some Cajuns. I need to make sure what I confuse myself here. Let me see here. Okay. So yes, you can call Trey Amos, see how much he was promised at Alabama and how much he played, right? See what he's getting at Ole Miss, and call Zion Chris and see what he's getting, see what he was promised at Houston. And I don't even know if he's going to play either. You certainly don't have to go too far to find out how all this NIL deal, smoke and mirrors thing is working to find out to see how it may not work out for you. And then we'll see if anybody comes back. I haven't seen any reports that anybody has come out of the portal yet and back on the team. Again, I would presume that Foot hasn't tweeted out, although he did tweet out. He hasn't tweeted out since. Neville's Cam Riley plans to play football and baseball for the Cajuns. Okay, that'll be interesting. Wasn't Mo Hampton supposed to do that for LSU, and that didn't work out either way? So I haven't seen anybody coming back out of the portal. All right. And again, the presser is tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be around tomorrow. What time? The presser is at noon. When's that presser? It is open to the public. So if you want to go, you can do that. Let's see. So I'm not speaking out of turn yesterday. Let me see when. Hold on. Where to go? The introductory press conference. It's noon my time, 11 a.m. Central time on Friday. Yeah, tomorrow. So is it technically a vacation if you're not working? Am I on vacation or am I just moving somewhere else to do what I'm doing? So when you're on, but the point is when you're on vacation, you got to lose track of the day. So it is, today's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, and it is open to the public. Third floor at the Teague at Russo Park. So I will say Texas streamed their presser live yesterday. I don't know if I'm buying that whole we met on Monday and made that decision that night or after the game. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm buying that. Someone is not fully telling the truth in that case. Anyways, we'll get to that here in a second. So we'll see if it's streamed live. I think they've done that before. I doubt I'll be able to ask any questions, or if I need to, but it'd be nice to listen in to seeing if it is. It'll certainly be recorded, and I'll be able to watch it later. As far as that Texas Jim Slosh, I can't say it. Schlossnagle. His presser did apologize to the Texags reporter. He kept on saying "but," so just apologize. You don't have to have a but. I'm not buying the timeline. There's been multiple reports, including Kendall Rogers, that said this actually started before. That it started before the regionals. I think the timeline got pushed back all the time because A&M kept on winning. Chris Del Conte claims that there was no conspiracy to have it leak on Monday when it did, or fire David Pierce on Monday. Really? You couldn't fire David Pierce on Tuesday? Come on. I mean, you couldn't have waited a day. You know, there was a way to handle all of this. And it appears everybody did not handle it properly. Texas didn't handle it properly. Texas doesn't really care. A&M, or, Jim Schlossnagle didn't handle it properly. Texas Ag Reporter handled it properly. The media has handled it properly. And again, not that I was paying attention to either one of these programs until the Cajuns went to College Station, but again, they knew Pierce was gone. This was not, that was the first question asked, and he handled it better than Jim Schlossnagle, right? He's like, he didn't raise his voice. I'm not sure if he asked if it was an appropriate question. He may have asked that, but he answered it matter of factly. I'm planning on being here. We got a great crew coming back, and it was a lot of coach speak. But usually when Danny Davis from the Austin Statesman is happening, it's, the coach knows, right, by that time. Not a big surprise. That was the first question asked. And then after the press conference, I'm like, is he really fired? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, they're probably going after Schloss, but they probably won't get him. That was the thought at the time, right? There was a better chance that Texas was going to make, they were thinking there was a better chance that they'd make a run at Jay Johnson than actually get Jim Schlossnagle. And I guess people think that maybe Jay Johnson would end up at A&M. That would be just as shady, right? He's got almost double digits in transfer portal guys coming in. You can't do that. Now Jay Johnson may end up with a raise, right? Because outside of Tony Vitello, right? I don't know how many current coaches have national championships that are going to be considered for that job. He's going to have more than the guy who gets the job, probably. So he'll probably get a raise at LSU. But I don't think I'm not sure that Jay Johnson's going anywhere anytime. I don't know if he has major league aspirations or anything like that. Has that ever happened? Wasn't there a pitching coach that went, or was it from the majors to the majors? Some pitching coach came from the majors to college. Was that for LSU? I know BJ Ryan was there for the Cajuns, but that was kind of more of a help us out as we go through this issue with Robe and bringing in Deggs. But I thought there was some pitching coach in the middle of the season a couple years ago that came down to the minors or came down to college baseball. Anyways, was Wes Johnson? I have to look that one up. As far as Matt Deggs goes to A&M, I have not seen that via anybody. Kendall Rogers put out his list. It did not include Deggs. Deggs' name is only floating around Twitter because he coached at A&M. That's really about it. I'm not buying the whole that he would get that gig. They're going to go through a lot more before you get to Matt Deggs. And again, because it's Texas and it's A&M now needs to make a splash. Trev Alberts with, is this his second big hire? Did he hire Elko? Why don't I think that was the case? Right? He didn't hire Elko, right? Let's see here. Trev Alberts to A&M. Let's see here. Yeah, that was in March, so he didn't hire Elko. Okay, so that really just recently happened. So that's going to be his first big hire, and they're going to want to make a splash and overpay. I'll tell you that. That's what's going to happen. All these coaches are going to get a raise because of the A&M job, because of the Texas job. So they're going to get a raise. Schlossnagle has done a great job wherever he's been, TCU and A&M, but haven't won anything yet. So Jay Johnson's going to be like, I should win something. I should get some more money because I'm better than these guys. So I don't think Jay Johnson's going anywhere. I don't think Deggs is going anywhere. Not yet. Nick brought up the potential of, the domino effect. But I don't know if he's connected to any other program outside of A&M. If the Kentucky coach gets it, he's not going to end up in Kentucky. I don't think, right? Kentucky's going to have connections to other coaches out there. So, I don't think that would be the case. So, I don't think Deggs is going anywhere. All right, it is episode 66. Boy, we had like over 200 on the replay yesterday. I have to figure out how to get all those views over to YouTube. So, that's a me thing. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. We're up to 57 already. We've only been doing it for 15 minutes. So, maybe it's catching on. Also, it's a little bit later. But the method to my madness. And how about this? And we haven't talked about this. 103.7 The Game changing their lineup. Jordy's going on in the mornings. And Dawson Iserlo is going to midday. So the reason I started this was there was no local Cajuns talk, right? No one was talking Cajuns first thing in the morning. And, Moscona is, that's not real competition because I'm going to talk LSU, but he's going to take all the LSU fans. But I thought I could get on before him and talk Cajuns. So that's why I did it at 6:55. Also, if I wake up early, I'm not staying up late. I go to bed. I'll go to bed earlier. I don't mind waking up. I'm a morning person. And then I have the whole day in front of me. I will say this. I'll suggest this. I think Dawson, I don't know if it was put out there. I don't know when they decided to make the change. They definitely, should make the change. You need a morning show. That's when 103.7 The Game popped when we added Allen to the lineup, right? Because they've been doing the same thing for a long time. A morning show, then Jordy, and then the afternoon show took off with Ben. We added Allen, then we went 8 hours of local with Rome in the middle. Now they're going from 7 to 6. Nobody in the middle, right? So that's a great idea. But if I was Dawson, I would have taken the 7 to 9. That's what you wanted. You wanted the morning drive. 1 to 3 is a nice time slot, and I guess it's his first solo show. I mean, listen, you realize he drove RP3 and company. But if I was Dawson, he's a young kid. He can wake up in the morning. That's the show. That's what you wanted. Plus, it's not 6 a.m. So it's 7 to 9. Get the whole day after that. Cover the Cajuns if you want. That's what I would have done. I would have gone 7 to 9. But he's the one with a job, and I'm the one, without a radio job anyway. So congratulations over there. But that was the reason I started this, is because there was nobody talking Cajuns stuff first thing in the morning. Like, nobody. So, and so far it's kind of worked out with everything that's gone on over the last, more than 2 months. As far as the Pelicans go, they picked another guy who can't shoot. I know they needed a center. I'm a big Valanciunas fan, but apparently that's not going to work anymore. I don't know why. So you picked a limited offensive guy for a more defensive guy. So that's the problem with Valanciunas. He can't, he can't cover anybody out beyond the basket. He's pretty good in the basket. Pretty good in the basket. He's pretty good underneath. Let's see what his stats are. I think the Pelicans are going to miss him in a big way. I don't know if he gets paid too much money or, he's not out there in the fourth quarter. The coach doesn't like him, but he only played 23 minutes, averaged 12 points and 9 rebounds a game in 23 and a half minutes. My goodness. Shot at 30%, although that was down this year. Shot at 31% from 3, actually his worst shooting percentage since 2018, 2019 in Memphis. He was shooting 35, 36, 36, 35. So only 31% this year. But let's see how the Pelicans replace 12 and 9, 8.8 rebounds a game. In 23 minutes of play. That is, if you do the per numbers, he's got, those are ridiculous numbers. What he's doing per 48 minutes or something like that. Let's see, advanced stats. I don't know if we get that here. Oh, there you go. Per 40 minutes, points, 20, rebounds, 15. So go, see if you can replace that. Although those were down from his previous years because he wasn't playing as many minutes, but 21 and 15. Good luck. We'll see what they do with Brandon Ingram. It doesn't feel like they have much of a plan to me. They're replacing a center because they need to replace a center, but somebody who can't shoot in today's game, come on. We'll see what happens. Sammoooo with, his Substack read that. We'll see if they can trade for what he suggested. Guys from the Hawks or the Cavs. Get some assets, get some guard play to work with. Is his name Messi? And Zion. It feels like, and this has to do with, make no mistake about it, this had to do with Zion. With Zion just not being healthy, right? Like they missed their initial window because now you're dealing with, Oklahoma City. We'll see what the Suns are. Stephen A. reporting that the Suns want to get rid of Durant. Memphis is going to be back with Ja. I actually like the Zach Edey pick. Some other people don't like it. Denver, right? It just feels like I can't. I'm having a brain cramp on who's in the West. Standings. Standings here. You got Oklahoma City, the Nuggets. T-Wolves may have made the best move with Rob Dillingham. Lakers got Dalton Connect from Tennessee. And I'll get to that in a second. Do we think the Lakers are going to be better? Do we think the Warriors are going to be better? The Kings are going to be better? Houston seems to be all in. It just feels like the window has passed on. The window has passed on the Pelicans. We'll see. They got to retool. I presume CJ McCollum, who would be great to be around. I'm sure he won't be by the time they're ready to win. So we'll see. Again, it's not about next season. It's about 2 or 3 years down the road. We'll see. The one thing that I think is the most overrated thing, one of the most overrated things in sports is the age of the player, especially if they're a little bit older. Why would I care what Dalton Connect is doing when he's 33 if I'm the Lakers, right? So let's do 10 years. Say he was 20 because they said maybe it was his defense that he slid, but it was mostly his age. So let's make him 20, all right? And what's the NBA rookie contract? Like 4 years, NBA rookie contracts. The last thing I'm worried about is, let's see what the rookie scale is. Okay. So they get a third-year option, fourth-year option. Okay. So it's 4 years. And so you're basically extended after your third season. All right. Rookie contract extensions. All right. Let's see. Well, we're doing what these are. I mean, like Scooter Barnes is getting a contract extension, right? 5 years, $275 million. All right. So those, 8 or 9 years? So instead of Dalton Connect being 29 or 30, he's going to be 33. That's fine. I got the best 8 years out of him anyways. I don't understand why I need to worry about him when he's between 30 and 35. He's obviously going to be more developed than a 20-year-old, right? I mean, they're talking about the kid who Oklahoma City took, who isn't playing at all this year, right? And we'll see what he does, or not this year, but next season, or I guess it starts this year. He's not going to play in 24, 25. He may not even get into the, start doing anything with Oklahoma City until the summer league of 25 in 25. So isn't it going to take him 2 or 3 years to develop? And we'll see if he's any good by the time that second contract goes. Now, here's the thing. Dalton Connect has to be developed right now, right? I mean, there can be the adjustment to the NBA, and that's fine. But he's got to be ready to roll. And he really should be getting open shot after open shot. If you have LeBron and Anthony Davis on your team, You should be getting open shot after open shot after open shot. That should not be a problem. Now we'll see what happens defensively. But I don't buy that whole he's too old deal. That's, let's see what the average length of an NBA career is. Average NBA career length. We get this AI stuff now. All right. According to RBC, whatever that is, the average NBA player retires at 28, which is before the average of 30 for most professional athletes. That's most professional athletes. However, some say the average NBA career is around 10 years for individual players and 13 years for a team sport. All right, this is something else. The Sports Stir. Throughout NBA history, it's NBA history, there have been more than 4,500 players, and the average career length is around 4.5 years. Should be going up with people playing longer. So the last thing I'm worried about is Dalton Knecht at 31. And if he was 20, I guess maybe you're thinking he's coming into his prime, so he'd have another good 5 years. But boy, first of all, you're the Lakers. You're trying to win another championship now. I don't know when that's going to be, right? Nobody thinks that the Lakers are contending, but you're certainly not looking, what the team is going to look like in a decade. Why does anybody worry about that? What it looks like in a decade, right? Except the Spurs are trading away for, 30 and 31 picks. But I don't get that. That's the last thing I'm worried about is somebody's age at this point in time. That would seem to be one less thing I have to worry about, right? Compared to a 19-year-old coming into the NBA. Now, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you come from little or no money, and then all of a sudden you have 7 figures, it doesn't matter what age you are. And it doesn't matter if you're a basketball player or, you invented some company and you become a multi-millionaire, a billionaire overnight, right? Doesn't matter. So everybody has to worry about that. But, Dalton Knecht, is a young adult, right? He's a young man. He's not a teenager. And so that'd be one thing I wouldn't have to worry about. You would think. I don't know him at all, but, certainly seen him play enough. And the kid's tough. He can drive to the hoop. He can shoot. Lakers may have gotten a steal of the draft. That's welcome to my thanks for attending my TED Talk. I do not agree with the people who are like, well, he's too old. Well, what do you care how old he is in 9 years? You get the best 9 years out of his career. What are we worried about the next 9 years, right? Jeez. And if he ends up being good anyways, this would be my thought, you end up paying him less because he is a little bit older. He won't get less on the second contract, but maybe he gets a little bit less on the third contract because we don't want to be paying for him, top dollar when he's 37, 38. But that's already 3 contracts down the road. Who cares? I don't get it. All right. We are just about done. I actually have to do a Lockdown Sunbelt. I did not do that last night. I did Rage and Review instead. And I'm told I'm a little bit loud. So by the time I got around to doing Lockdown Sunbelt, Mama Schultz was going to bed. So we can't keep Mama Schultz up and away. And while I'm doing this. And, I just actually got, I would say, a little bit lazy. I would tell you. All right. The nephew is coming to town. Does he want to come on? I don't know. Let's see where he is. Let's see what we got here. You coming on? Let's see here. That's hoping. Hopping on. Let's see. He's in the DC airport. He's only got his phone. So let's see if he wants to hop on. All right. So, again, I am dropping him off. We'll grab some lunch or something like that. Mickey D's, that $5 meal. Rochester, unfortunately, going to be in a doubleheader. So we'll see how long that lasts. Right. We're always thinking doubleheaders and the minors are faster because they're only 7 innings. But if your doubleheader lasted 5 hours, so maybe 6 with the 45 minutes in between. So it's starting at 1 today, ends at 6. The thing is, these games now in the minors, along with the pitch clock, and even in college baseball, right? They kind of go fast. So if you're only playing 7 innings, you really could be done. Like that first game could be done by 2:30. Your first pitch of the next game could be 3:30. And even if you play 2 hours or 5:30, we're still out of there by 6. That'd be impressive. I don't know. Anything less than 7 is good. I don't know if they're getting weather. They did get weather last night. So we'll see. We got my brother's son, the Sam, coming in. We'll play a little basketball. He will get beat, although the kid can shoot. He can shoot from deep. Although you would think he'd be able to go past me a little bit because I'm slow and old and got a bad wheel. Although my left foot is feeling much better after taking the day off from Orange Theory. That is pushing myself a little bit too much. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a run in here this morning. We've already eaten and stuff. We got to do the podcast, so I got to get that done. He does not seem like he wants to hop on. He's not. Let's see. When did he get off the plane? See, I think he got off the plane like 45 minutes ago, so I was hoping he would hop on, but maybe not. Maybe not. All right. All right, so we'll wait and see about A&M making a coaching change. I'm sure that's going to happen here rather quickly. Again, the portal is closing overall, I thought, on Tuesday coming up. Again, it doesn't close to go out of it. It just closes to go into it. And then with Allison Habits being introduced tomorrow, we'll see if any of the girls come back. Will Heron from Fox 15 was on with us, said he saw Sam Landry giving pitching lessons. Like, that's the big wild card. We have not heard from Sam, right? Whether she's staying or going. Nick didn't like the idea of the girls announcing that they were leaving. He doesn't understand why they do that. Whereas it's not only a thank you, but it's hey, I'm a free agent type of deal. So it's kind of announcing that. And then again, Lexi Delbray did the head fake. Her first 3 sentences kind of felt like she's thanking everybody and, really appreciate the Cajun Nation. And, then she did, having said all that. And you think she's like, I'm now in the transfer portal. And nope, I'm coming back. Having said all that, I'm coming back for one more year. So, good for her. She could be a big, Lexi Delbray could be huge in the Cajuns' plans in 2025. Nick also alluded to the fact that a potential pitching coach, which really young, plenty of pitching experience. I presume a little coaching experience maybe last year. But, the Cajuns did pretty well with Justin Robichaux, and what the heck did he know about softball pitching before he got into it? I don't know, to be honest with you. So, certainly this person potentially has plenty of softball pitching experience, and certainly relatively close to the ages of the people she'll be coaching. So that could be good. Could be bad, but could be good. So we shall see how that works out. I don't know if we're going to find out about that today or not. No. All right. It is, we're doing this almost, just over half an hour, 87 on today's show. That's, you guys are the best. Did it without a hat. Did get a haircut beforehand. It looked pretty good. It is all, there's not a whole lot of pepper left in the coif. So, oh, well, see anything else going on? Let's see what else is going on quickly. Sports wise, I will say, I really was. I don't know, they're making fun of Stephen A, and maybe he should know more about the guys getting drafted. I certainly, don't know any of these guys. Reed Shepard and Dillingham, because they were on Kentucky. But, the Connecticut Center, I don't even know the Providence guy. So, it is funny, though. Someone compared him to Mel Kiper, who knows, the 7th round pick out of D3 and knows all about him. And Stephen A doesn't know who the guys are taking in the lottery. It is. I am reading Stephen A's book, so I find the book fascinating. I think it's a really good book. I'm not sure if we're at the point where him and Skip break up, but I haven't heard that part yet. Of course, we all know he's going through the contract negotiations, and I'm not exactly sure. Jason Barrett of Barrett Sports Media was like, should we know what these people are making? And I'm like, well, we seem to know what the athletes are making, so I don't know if I have a problem knowing what other broadcasters are making. Is that an issue? I'd be more embarrassed to, let you guys know how little I used to make. That's where I would become embarrassed. That's not going to help me anyway. But the day that I'd be making $100,000, there'd be only one reason I was making $100,000. The stations make a lot of money. That'd be it. I would proudly announce my contract. Dave Schultz just signed a 3-year, $450,000 contract, $150 per year. Yay! Not even close to that. So, yeah, I don't know if I would be all that disappointed if I was making money. If I was making a little bit of money, I'd be embarrassed. I'm not exactly sure I agree with that sentiment, right? And I don't know if we find out the terms of some of these contracts, right? Like ESPN always used to be the place where you didn't get paid. Like back in the day, it was basically, Dan Patrick, Keith Olbermann, and Chris Berman. Those were the only guys getting paid. And I thought someone said that Joe Buck was getting paid. I thought Troy Aikman gets more than Joe Buck. And this all goes back to Tony Romo. All these big salaries head straight back to Tony Romo because he's the first of this kind of generation that made all that kind of money. And I don't need, as if $5 million a year was crumbs. I don't need what you're giving me because I have all the cash. If you want me, it's going to cost you. Whereas, Troy Aikman, a much more successful quarterback, didn't make nearly as much as Romo. And so he's good at it, right? Better than Romo. And he kind of broke the bank at ESPN. They brought Buck over, and I think Scott Van Pelt does incredibly well. And none of these guys are hurting anymore, right? Anytime you're making, John Anderson just decided to call it a career going back to teach at Missouri. I'm sure he's getting a solid 6-figure salary there. And I'm sure he was making a high 6-figure, if not 7-figure salary at ESPN. But it used to be, again, kind of like the Yankees and Steinbrenner. He's like, I can pay you, but I can't pay you the most because I got to pay everybody. And that's kind of like what ESPN always used to be. And at the same time, they're like, there's no place else to go. And now everybody's kind of doing it on their own, right? I mean, Fox tried this and it never worked. Fox has never been successful, right? Now there's other talk shows, but there really isn't other more highlight shows, right? It's still just SportsCenter. But now you got to pay Greenberg, right? And you got to pay all those guys who get up on Get Up. I'd be interested to know, with all due respect to those guys, what Evan, Smallman, and Canty make. Like Canty, again, he played in the NFL, and they've been just talking about, like, he was talking about that signing bonus hits the bank account. It's a different feeling, right? He actually said he said in his first, I don't know if it was first contract or his second contract, him and his mother went to the bank, and they they don't necessarily see that kind of check come into the bank, and so they got a lot of people around making sure that it was legit. And obviously, if we have somebody who's got 7-8 figure, I think it was an 8-figure signing bonus, we need to take care of them, right? So customer service is pretty good. But it'd be interesting to know what the national guys get. Coleman and Harry are on in the afternoons. Chris Carlin's been doing this forever. He gets to do it from home for the most part. So it'd be interesting. Greeny, we know what he's getting, right? He's making like $4 or $5 million, maybe more, right? So I don't know if I'd have a problem if I can share what the athletes are making. I don't know if anybody cares what the sports guys are making. We just are always dazzled by the numbers, right? Like Stephen A's turning down $18 million. Do you have a feeling that Stephen A would have turned down like $25 million and asked for 30? That kind of feels like what it is, right? Because he kind of wants the win. If they offered him $25 million, would he have taken it, or would he was like, well, now I need 35? I don't know how that works. But yeah, anyone wants to pay me six figures, I'll be happy to let people know. I don't know. It's never happened. It hasn't really been all that close. All right, we're up to 40 minutes, 92 listening at one point. This has been awesome. Maybe just guys like, can you hear the birds? Haven't seen any deer. And when I used to do the afternoon show, my mother has a team of landscapers. Like, they're like 3 or 4 people here, and they do the whole. It's a pretty good size yard. I don't know if you can see it, right? Pretty good size yard. That's just the back. The front is pretty good too. And although it makes noise during the show, they're done in 15 minutes. They are not here. It would take me half an hour just to do the lawn in the back, not to mention the front. And they come in, do the bushes and do the trimming, and at least 2 guys, if not 3, if not 4. So they get through fast. But we don't have to deal with that first thing in the morning. But you can hear the birds. I think you can hear the birds. It's pretty cool. So I don't know if that's what's getting all the views, or we've just started to catch on. And again, it's a little bit later than 6:55 in the morning. Nick said it's too early. Well, don't you have a real job? He's like, yeah, I'm actually commuting when the show is on. So, and he watches the replay. So, and a lot of you guys are doing that. All right. We'll see if we have a show tomorrow morning. Probably won't be at 7:55. I'll be on my way back from Rochester. So maybe a little bit later. I think when we got out, I don't know what time I left College Station, but that was pretty good too for about an hour. And I think I ended up going the wrong way. I ended up on the phone with somebody. I got to Houston, and I just, in my mind, go I-10 east. And unfortunately, that takes you into Houston instead of taking 610. That takes you away from Houston. Super genius. Like, I should have thought about it beforehand. All right, so no Sammoooo. He's not hopping on up. Okay, he got a bite to eat. Okay. All right. Let's see here. No Schultz cast. Let's see what he says. See if he wants to hop on here quick. Apparently the no. His flight is 10:30. No. Apparently not. Okay. All right. Well, we gave him a shot. All right. See you soon. All right. All right. So almost 100 in just 43 minutes. So that's outstanding. All right. Everybody have a great day. And again, I don't really know. Let's phrase that again. I don't know Dylan Cruz at all, but he's going to be playing in the doubleheader today. So I'll see him. He was kind enough to come on my show one time in the minors. But we'll I don't know. And usually my my buddy likes to leave quickly. All right. Let's see. His gate, probably not too far. Oh, yeah. Only 2 down. All right. His gate changed. All right. Although one time my gate changed and I wasn't paying attention. Why isn't anybody lining up? And it was next door. Had the headphones on and not paying attention. All right. He is paying attention. He's only traveled like this twice. I don't remember getting on a plane when I was 18. Not by myself. We did travel from the Sugar Bowl. We did that. We stayed. So I would have been 19. We went to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, where Auburn War Eagles turned to chickens too soon. And my parents had left. We stayed a couple extra days, and we took the train home. So we took the train from New Orleans to New York City, and I think we caught a cab. One was coming into Grand Central, and one was leaving from Penn Station, something like that. So it wasn't the most difficult of all things, right? It was just me and the doctor. So I would have been I would have been 19. No, I think I still would have been 18. 18, and he would have been 16. Yeah. We figured out how to get on a train, survive without killing each other, and then making the transfer from one station to the next. Not that big a deal. All right, let's shut it down. I got to do the podcast, and then probably not going to run. Probably could just go get the Sammoooo. All right, maybe we'll test out that McDonald's $5 bill or something like that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.